And there you are. So today I'm going to be talking to you about the Agile mindset, and especially about my journey of awakening to an Agile mindset. I will start telling you a little bit of myself, who I am, then what Agile mindset means for me, my journey of discovery, and then some tips that help you and hopefully can help you too. So let me start. So this is me in holidays in Estepona. This is my contact details. These are my contact details. So you can reach me in LinkedIn or by email in my Babylon Health account. I started my career. I studied computer science, and I started my career as a software developer. And then I went up through the ranks to team lead, to development manager, and then working for one of my companies, my previous companies, they introduced us to Agile, to Scrum, actually. And they sent us in a course, Scrum Master and Product Owner. And I said, whoa, go, do Agile. Now you are the masters of the universe, so let's go. So you can imagine how that was. I will tell you more about my journey after that later on. Now I want to kind of dive into what the Agile mindset is for me, because I only have 20 minutes. I can speak 4 years on this one. So I have to keep on moving. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of divide the two words that forms the Agile mindset. So we have Agile first. So why is Agile? If I have more time, I will set up a pool here and I will ask you what Agile is. And this is very funny because I always like asking people what Agile is to see their opinions. And I remember in one interview they asked me this, and I was saying, well, Agile is kind of a way of being, is kind of doing things in a different way. And this person said to me, no, Agile is a set of processes. And at that point, we knew that we were not right for each other. So we moved on. Then I had the massive opportunity to actually train with Jeff Sunderland, or I should say, Dr. Jeff Sunderland. And this wasn't one of the questions that we put forward for him. And this is, I don't know if you know him, but when he speaks, it's kind of a bit good. And he will say, what is Agile? Agile is just a set of values and principles that form the Agile Manifesto. And we were all like, oh, wow. Yes, you're right. That is what Agile is, really. So after that, we moved to what mindset is. So what is mindset? So English is not my first language. So actually, I have to find it in the dictionary. And I came up with these 3 solutions for what it is. And the first one, it was very funny, but I don't like it very much, but actually describes a lot of what we can see in our industry right now. And it's a set of attitudes or fixed ideas that somebody has and that are often difficult to change. And as we know, sometimes we get very fixated on how we do things and things like that, and we don't change our minds. The other one, which I like a little bit more, is the established set of attitudes held by someone. And then we can move to, which is the definition that I like the most, is if you refer to someone's mindset, you mean the general attitudes and the way they typically think about things. And I like this one a lot. So if you see here, there is kind of a theme going through, and it's attitudes. It's all about attitudes. And attitudes is all about behaviors. So if we put all this together, what we have is that actually the mindset is nothing more than the behaviors and the attitudes that derive from the application of the values and principles as described in the Agile Manifesto. And this is as simple as that. This is what for me Agile mindset is. Most of you have seen this, which is the Agile Onion. And it has at the heart of it the processes, the tools and practices. But I think those are kind of not irrelevant, but kind of not in the mix, because they should, or we should, be inspecting and adapting and changing all these practices and processes. It's the values and the principles and the behaviors that we have, the ones that matter. So I'm sure you have all seen this slide from Gandhi before. And I'm sure some of you might be saying, but he didn't say that. He probably didn't say that, but somebody else kind of summarized it for him. What he actually said was something like this. If we could change ourselves, the tendency in the world will also change. So as a man, he didn't put woman, I add the woman part. As a man, woman changes her own nature, so does the attitude of the world change towards her. So in other words, what he's saying is that if we change our behaviors, we will affect our environment as well. We will change our environment. So change kind of start with us, and the behavioral change will start with us. And this is a fabulous sentence from one of my coaches and friend, Audrey Tarasahota, from CIF 340. And it says, a new way of being enables a new way of working, which means we have all these new ways of working. If we don't change the way we are not going to be able to adopt them. So we need to have in mind that in order to adopt this, we need to change the way we think, we need to change the way we be. And these behaviors kind of derived into, I don't know if you have seen this before, this is the engagement cycle. This is the minimum set of behaviors that you need to have in order to have an agile mindset. And this is called a cycle because if one of them is missing, the whole cycle collapses. They are not there anymore. So you need to have safety. You need to have an equal voice. You need to be able to ask questions, to be yourself, to say things without fear of retribution. You need to be able to feel vulnerable. Sometimes this is a very kind of funny fact. When we see somebody that is vulnerable, we think, oh, they are very brave. But when we try to be vulnerable, we see it as a failure kind of thing. So we need to change our kind of thinking on this one. Authentic connections, you need to feel that you belong to the team, to the company, to whatever group you are working with. And definitely you need to have trust, because without trust, you are actually have nothing. And if any of these elements disappears, then you are actually lost. You don't have that agile mindset, and you will never get that agile mindset. So these are your basics, your fundamentals. But something that you need to watch out is the other side, which is the cycle of disengagement. And this is when you see these behaviors happening in your organization, in your teams, or sometimes even in yourself, you need to watch out for and kind of stop them. So if you see fear, somebody that they don't want to speak because they fear retribution. When you see the behavior of keep calm and cover your ass. So, I'm here, I sent an email, I copy the whole enterprise on it, so I'm covered, I'm fine, I don't have to do anything else. When you feel that you don't belong, when you feel that you are alone, and when you trust no one, and when you think that somebody is out to get you, and when to put the knife in your back. So these are the behaviors that you need to watch out for and correct them. And as usual, change starts with us. So as leaders, we need to actually make sure that our teams see us doing the right thing, because one thing is saying it, one thing is doing it. So watch out for that. I have to give the credit to Michael Sahota and Audrey Tarasahota and CIF 314 for this slide. So every time that you see that little thing on the top that says shift, is because of them and because I have nicked the slide from them. And now I'm going to go into my journey and how I discovered this mindset, which I thought I actually had, but I discovered I didn't. So this was me. I was standing with my teams. I had, from the time that I was introduced to the Scrum, to that course that we did 2 days, that's it, to here, I have done a lot of discovery. I went to a lot of meetups. I knew a lot of people. I knew a lot of stuff. So I thought I knew everything. And I thought I was the master of the universe. But I was starting to have some issues in some teams. Definitely in those teams in which there were very, very young people with not much experience, and which they were questioning absolutely everything because they were not taking anything at face value. And why should they? So all I wanted to do is have a team that behaved like this. And I didn't. So I thought, okay, maybe this is my leadership skills that they are not very good, and I need to do something about it. So what I did is I found out something in the market, which was the CAL program from the Scrum Alliance. And it said, through CAL program, you can increase your leadership effectiveness and learn how to be a better leader, no matter what your role. So I thought, oof, this is what I need. I have to go to this course. And I saw Michael Sahota in one of the meetups that he did. And he had a very, very tough kind of questions from the audience. And he managed that extremely well. And I thought, wow, this is what I need. This is really what I need. So I went to his course. But little did I know that I was going for a ride. And we were in the course. And what happened to me was like, you know, when some of us call themselves Agile Evangelists or an Agile, you know, whatever. That link of evangelists with Agile always kind of used to create a reaction on me. And it's because I link the evangelist part with religion and with kind of the people that comes at your doors, knocks at your doors and wants to transform you to their or convince you to join their religions. So I thought that was wrong. But when I was doing this course with Michael, I suddenly realized actually I was one of them. So everything that I disliked, I was doing it myself. So it was really, really an awakening and really, really depressing to find out that actually what I was doing is I was trying to push Agile through the throats of my team members. So what did I do? The first thing that I did is let go of what I wanted. And that allowed me to listen to myself, how I was coming across to them, to listen to them, and to listen to the whole organization. Let me have a bit of water. And most importantly, to be compassionate and empathetic, to actually put myself in their shoes, and not thinking that, you know, I was the master of the universe and they didn't know anything. So remember the image of the team that I wanted? I didn't get that, but I got this. And with this, the result was quite fast, quite instant. And even though we still have our differences, we always listened and tried to accommodate everybody's views. So we end up with kind of this colorful idea or ideas. So now what? So what you can do when you are in this situation or when you want to do something like this, I don't know if, you know, going into this course is going to help you at all. Excuse me. But that is what helped me. What you have to do is just look at yourself and actually stand in the truth and find what that truth is. What do you need to get better? And if that is going into the CAL course, so be it. But, you know, it's up to you. Just find what it was for you. And then make sure you let go of what you want. Don't try to push your agenda on anybody. Just listen. As I did, listen to yourself first, how you come across to people. Listen to the rest and be empathetic and compassionate when you listen to people. And then listen to the system. And I will give you a little thing at the end, well, in a minute, that you can try in your organization to actually find out what your organization is on this kind of basic agile mindset. And which is this check bust. And it's just this. And you can put the cycle of disengagement in one side, the cycle of engagement in the other, and then you ask the teams, or you ask your people where they stand in this. One being, trust no one, for example. 10 being, we have lots of trust, we trust everybody with our lives, kind of thing. And when I first joined Babylon, I wanted to gather some data. And it was very easy to find out what they were in terms of the processes and tools, because that is quite straightforward. You're there in a week, you know which meetings we have, which meetings we haven't, how do we do them, how well are they facilitated, etc., etc. But in terms of what people think and how people behave, it takes a very long time to actually see. So what I did is I did this with them, with the part of the organization that I was working on. And to my surprise, because things and experiments are never straightforward, to my surprise, I find out that somebody asked me, they kept asking me, how are we going to do this? At which level do you want us to do it? So I asked, what do you mean at which level? Yeah, do you want it at company level or do you want it at team level? And I said, I don't know. Are they different? Of course they are different. Okay, so why don't you put company with a C and the team with a T, and then we can compare them. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So we have to send the instructions again to everybody, so they can put they could put the C with the company and the T with the team. And then when we did the analysis, it was clear that actually the teams had a very, very good kind of agile mindset, but we thought that the company didn't. So we kind of had this kind of bubbles of agile, and it wasn't extended to the whole company. So obviously, straight away, with just a couple of days' work, you had a lot of information in there and things that you have to do going forward. One was to protect those teams, to keep those agile bubbles going, and second, to extend it to actually include the whole company. So that is what we're working on right now. So I just want to finish my my talk with saying that this is actually the sentence that it kind of encompasses everything else. It's a new way of being, enables a new way of working. So if we want to do new things, we have to change the way that we act. And I will finish like this. Any questions?
Thank you very much for that. Really insightful. We've got a few questions. So the first one from Pradeep. He asked, did the CAL course help you get more out of your teams in terms of engagement and output?
Definitely. Totally, Pradeep, because I wasn't pushing anymore. I was listening and I was taking their views in consideration. And actually, it was kind of more collaboration between all of us, not just me saying, oh, no, this has to be like this because Scrum says that, because Kanban says that, because, all these things. So definitely, it really, really helped me.
Okay. Raf asks, how do you implement an agile way of working without forcing it onto your team?
That's a very good question, Raf. Very, very difficult, because you get very frustrated, I have to say as well. But you just show those values and you just ask and suggest. And it's up to them to join you. So you invite people to join you. And I had something kind of, somebody asked me as well. They were getting very frustrated because people were not coming to them. And it's like, I just want to tell them to do it. They don't. Because, when you push it onto people, they will do it just because of the sake of it. But if they actually join you, they will take ownership of it. And that will work much better because they will take it forever, not just for that punctuation, for that point.
We've also got a question from Andrew. He alliances for Scrum Masters and product owners and even developers, but not testers. Why do you think this is?
That's another very good question. And Yeah, Scrum Alliance is a bit kind of strange. And I'm surprised that they haven't done anything with the testers as other organizations have. Because quite frankly, at the end of the day, 2 days course is not going to help you much. You need to practice and practice. So you will have to ask somebody from the Scrum Alliance. I cannot answer that one.
We've also got a question from one of our other panelists, Chris. Chris, you're there. Do you want to ask the question?
Yeah, sure. I was wondering, Amaia, if you had any problems with the buy-in to some of the softer skills and the psychological elements, particularly from hard-boiled technologists.
Ooh, yes. I have all sorts of problems, and certainly we have a lot of hardcore engineers that they don't buy into these things. I remember having a conversation with one of them once. It was what I was saying is about the definition of done, for example, and it's like, well, you can put whatever you want as the definition of done, but you need to track when that item gets to production. So, I never understood what the engineers sometimes, they just want to get rid of things and see them go. But it's the value that we give to the customers that is the what matters in this occasion. And he was just saying to me, well, this is just theory. You just live in some world that, comes from these books, but this doesn't happen in real life. I say, it does happen in real life. And people care about when they see these things into production. You might not, but you need to agree with me that, even if you have finished with it, you still need to tackle and make sure that that is being used by the end user. Because otherwise, what is the value of what we're doing?
Thank you.
Manuel, I think, did you have a question as well?
Yes, sure. I really like your talk. Thank you for the explanation. From my side, I'm actually one of those technologists, so I'm quite interested to understand if together with the mindset, you were supported by some tooling as well. So any tooling you think can help introducing an agile mindset?
I don't think there is any tooling as such. There are things that you can do. Basically, it's just reflection. A lot of meditation, quite frankly. Make sure that you actually are aware of yourself and how you come across to others. Make sure that you actually understand the other person and you put yourself on the other person's shoes. So they are not tools as kind of you can see in the computer or things like this. It is more like personal skill that you need to work and build.
Thank you.
And just one final question from the comment section. I think you may have to be a bit diplomatic here from this question, but how agile are the Babylon executives and how are their mindsets?
Very good question, Gregorio. And now you're putting me in a very tough situation here. I have to say we have all sorts. There are executives that they are absolutely brilliant. I can tell you that my boss is absolutely brilliant, but there are executives that they don't get this. And I have another occasion when I tried to give feedback to one of the big people up there, and I got completely shut down. So we're working on it. We get there, but there is a mix. Not everybody is the same, obviously, but slowly we are getting there. And I think the most important thing is that people is starting to see the benefit of this. Not that just about doing Agile, but about being Agile. And hopefully we will conquer.